Get used to that graphic because we're a year and a half out of the debate. Our front page of the Daily News. Daily News editors say Trump towers, Donald full of bluster as he steals the spotlight. I don't know about that. Let's bring in a couple of people that I know very well. David Neff, president of Neff Associates, and Susan Buehler, executive vice president of Bellevue Communications Group. Their job in life is to figure out who does well, who makes a good impression. Susan, good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while.
Hey, Mike, how you doing? Good morning.
And David, I saw you last night, so no big deal.
Nice to see you again, Mike.
All right, Susan, let's start with you. The Daily News says Trump towers. What'd you think?
Well, in the first hour, I think Trump trumped all of the candidates for sure. From the first moment when he raised his hand until the second hour when we finally got to a little bit more meat in the debate, yes. I thought he totally had the first hour. And if you look at some of the numbers, he had 11 minutes of airtime. He had a little, 1,000 more words than any of the other candidates. So clearly out of the gate, he was the winner.
Hey, well, let's talk about, let's roll the clip. I think we have the clip of why he raised up his hand and nobody else did. Do we have that? Let's roll it.
It's not nice.
Anyway, explain to me, David, why
is there anyone on stage,
there you go.
and can I see hands, who is unwilling tonight to pledge your support to the eventual nominee of the Republican Party and pledge to not run an independent campaign against that person? Again, we're looking for you to raise your hand now. Raise your hand now if you won't make that pledge tonight. Mr.
David,
Trump.
did you notice he kind of looked to his right there to see if anybody else was going to raise his hand? And he goes, so he was pledging, I don't care who you nominate. If I don't agree with his or her policies, I'm not going to vote, even though they're Republican. Is that a good move?
I think it was a great move. It differentiated him. It really became, it started out as a Donald Trump show. And I personally don't believe that the average American really gives a hoot on whether one candidate supports their party or not.
So go ahead and raise your hand, right, Susan?
Oh, it definitely differentiated him right out of the gate. In the first 30 seconds of the debate, he actually commanded the stage. I think by the second hour, we got to a lot more of the substance. There were some great one-liners, too, that Trump had, something about that we don't have any time in this country for tone. I thought that was a great one-liner. Ben Carson had a great one-liner on brain surgery, and how he hasn't done any surgery on people in Washington, D.C. Even Marco Rubio, I thought, came out great in the second hour. He had a great liner about God and how, we're so blessed to have all these candidates, and the Republican Party and the Democrats can't even come up with one.
Hey, let's leave God out of the politics. What do you say? Hey, David, I was interested to see how Governor Chris Christie, because he has some bluster in him as well, down at the end of the stage, but it took a long time to even get to him.
Christie did a great job. Christie was energetic, enthusiastic. He backed up all of his points with great facts, and I think he positioned himself as a political leader of the United States of America by the way he handled Homeland Security, and I think the whole Bill of Rights issue with Paul, it positioned Paul as kind of a wacko liberal.
Rand Paul.
But I think Chris Christie absolutely helped himself with this debate.
Well, let's roll the clip where he got into a dust-up with Rand Paul about NSA and spying, and listen to what we're having to say.
Yes, I do. And I'll tell you why. Because I'm the only person on this stage who's actually filed applications under the Patriot Act, who have gone before the federal, the Foreign Intelligence Service Court, who has prosecuted and investigated and jailed terrorists in this country after September 11th. I was appointed U.S. Attorney by President Bush on September 10th, 2001. And the world changed enormously the next day. And it happened in my state. This is not theoretical to me. I went to the funerals. We lost friends of ours in the Trade Center that day. My own wife was 2 blocks from the Trade Center that day at her office, having gone through it that morning. When you actually have to be responsible for doing this, you can do it, and we did it for 7 years in my office, respecting civil liberties and protecting the homeland. And I will make no apologies ever for protecting the lives and the safety of the American people. We have to give more tools to our folks to be able to do that, not fewer, and then trust those people and oversee them to do it the right way. As president, that is exactly what I'll do.
Boy, that was strong.
Very
strong, David Neff.
That was really well done. He should give media training to Donald Trump.
Susan, highlight.
I thought that whole exchange made Christie, who, by the way, looks good. He's lost weight. He looks cerebral. He looks steady. He looks smart. I think that was the moment for Chris Christie last night, and that really set him apart in the pack in that second hour.
Yeah,
I totally
This was an interesting moment when Megyn Kelly, who's moderating, brought up Donald Trump's comments about women from over the last couple of years. Listen to this.
You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals. Your Twitter account...
Only Rosie O'Donnell.
No, it wasn't. Your Twitter account...
Thank you.
For the record, it was well beyond Rosie O'Donnell.
Yes, I'm sure it was.
Your Twitter account has several disparaging comments about women's looks. You once told a contestant on Celebrity Apprentice it would be a pretty picture to see her on her knees. Does that sound to you like the temperament of a man we should elect as president? And how will you answer the charge from Hillary Clinton, who is likely to be the Democratic nominee, that you are part of the war on women?
I think the big problem this country has is being politically correct. I've been challenged by so many people, and I don't frankly have time for total political correctness. And to be honest with you, this country doesn't have time either. This country is in big trouble.
David, what do you think of the exchange? You know, a lot of people say what's going to be on Fox News Channel is going to, you know, just be real easy for all the candidates, easy questions. I thought Megyn really came at him.
He could have ingratiated himself with women of America. He could have been accountable. He could have been responsible for his previous inappropriate comments, but instead he just decided to sweep it under the rug and say it was about tone. I mean, come on, Donald. Really?
Susan?
He did bridge. He has said some despicable things. There's no question about that. The questions last night from all of the commentators and reporters were excellent. But he did. He bridged right out of that question. He swept it under the rug to Rosie O'Donnell, and then he never really addressed it. He talked about tone. Look, Donald Trump, he plays by his own rules. He is not in this to be with the rest of the pack. 10 candidates is an awful lot of people, and he needed to set himself apart, and he did.
Okay, you two are not political types. You're more into marketing and PR. Who impressed you the most? Who gave the best impression last night? Susan, real quickly.
I think Marco Rubio.
Marco
he had
Rubio.
Great answers and great way of speaking in a short amount of time.
And David?
I thought Dr. Carson did a great job. He handled it himself very well. There was one issue at the end where I thought he could have done a little better, but generally speaking, I didn't know a whole lot about the man before the debate, and I was pretty impressed when it was over and done.
Okay, we have another year and a half to do this. Oh man, that's going to get tedious. Susan, good to see you. David, have a great weekend.
Thanks.